from dusk till dawn. I turn my speakers on. Why they wanna play with the king? I told them meet LeBron. There's darkness in my city. Wrong moves and you won't see the sun. They be talking loud but never been where the creatures hunt. And bleed for this dream, so why your eyes closed? Been running through the pain. Look at me and now my strides go. Every single scar on my skin, another milestone. Battles in the dark came out shining with the lights on. Look, but I don't think they listening.
Good morning, YouTube. It has been a while since my last entry. I was out for a walk with Emma and her new boobs. You can't see them. I'm not going to show them on the channel, of course, like, you know, in full. You might get a bit of cleavage at some point, but no promises. Anyway, it's been a while since I have posted here. You know, once this DJI broke, I was just like, can't go back to recording on the phone full time, and then my other camera just doesn't have the perfect lens. So yeah, just been a bit flaky with the uploads, but a lot has happened since we last spoke. So I've been on my stag, so stag is over. Great time in Amsterdam. Definitely put me off drinking for a long period of time. Emma, as mentioned, has gotten a new set of tits, which is amazing. I didn't pressure her into getting tits. She wanted to get them, okay? It's just an added bonus that, you know.
Gift for both of us.
Yes. And then yesterday we had our wedding menu tasting, so it's been a pretty jam-packed month. What do you think of the menu tasting yesterday?
Yeah, it was good. The food was delicious. The portions were good as well, which is key. Yeah, I'm very confident that it's going to be a good food wedding, which is so important because you fucking can't stand going to a wedding and get shit food.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking pathetic portions, and you're like waiting around all day to eat anyway.
Yeah.
There's nothing, or you go and the canapes are gross. No.
Yeah,
not
like,
at our wedding.
Like, naturally, as like two people who are
Foodies.
Yeah, two people who are into bodybuilding
Basically,
and stuff
we're
like
doing
that.
chicken and rice.
Yeah.
That's actually the main course, is chicken and rice.
No, I'll throw up some pictures of what we actually have went with. But like, as two people who are obviously, you know, into the gym,
Foodies.
it's going to be pretty damn protein heavy.
Yeah.
In regards to the options that are going to be there. But I think we're pretty good judges as well of what's going to be nice, right? Because we are people who love
Food.
eating food. Like, I mean, you know, most people like food, right? So it's kind of like, who doesn't like food? But you do have people who are like,
Some people are not bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, skinny cunts. That's who. So yeah, it was a very intense day of eating. So, like, I trained yesterday, trained pull, and I had a protein shake after, and then we went straight to the menu tasting, and like, I ate so much I was actually in pain, which like hasn't happened. I haven't eaten like that in a long period of time.
So funny, I wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, well, I was eating.
Yeah.
So Emma wasn't eating as much
I had
as
like
me.
a bite of things, and he's like, I'm going to finish the whole steak. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the food waste, you know.
No,
But anyway,
yeah.
like, I'd say I hit the majority of my protein intake and calorie intake within that hour, because like there was no like breaks, right? It was like pretty much straight through. It was like canapes, starters, main courses, desserts.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough. It was a lot of protein.
I could have not eaten last night. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
even that bothered, but I was like,
Yeah.
I knew I hadn't maybe hit my protein, so like I was having some yogurt, but I was like, how wild would it be if I just didn't eat from like 3 p.m.
Yeah,
That's not like me.
yeah. Last night I literally had some whey paste and a bowl of cereal, just because I was probably sufficient fats for sure yesterday, as well as protein, but I was definitely under in carbs. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, does it? Like, that was probably the first day in a long time where I have not tracked at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just left it as a completely untracked day because, oh, Samson's pooing. So yeah, a bit more of an erratic day of eating yesterday, but today should be a little bit more chill. So today is Saturday, it is a rest day. So obviously bringing through my current meals because my food has went up since last time we spoke. Huh? Yeah, alright, grammar police. Then as well, put up, you know, how the physique is currently looking right now, that we are just over 3 months into this game phase. We're going to finish off our walk, get back, have breakfast, and sure then we can have a chin wag.
I don't think they heard me. I don't think they listening. Nah, I don't think they heard me.
As above, so below. So it goes, so it goes. Try not to disrupt the flow. Be water, let it go. it's empty. You'll have to wait and see for yourself. Cause all this glamour can be tempting. And in the end, it's you and no one else. Say less and learn more. In observation, you can absorb the beauty that surrounds you. Cause what you see is how it sounds to you. No, I don't think you're listening. Yeah, I don't think you heard me. Yeah, I don't think you're listening. No, I don't think you heard me.
Tell them listen up, every single word a load of clip and I don't miss enough. Mirror on the mic so when I rap it's just a different us. Pressure in my pen can turn the diamond back to kitten dust. I told y'all, I'm done playing, I'm going animal. Doing damage, get in my way, you'll be collateral. Blood in every bar, just let the ink fill up the catacombs. Pray for the prey, cause every day is a sabbatical.
Whoa. We got meal 2 here. So there's broccoli, steak, we have potatoes, we have rice, we have chili oil, and we also have almond butter. It is 3 p.m. Usually I'm having this meal about 1 or 2. So I'm a little bit behind on my timing of meals today. Not that that's a big deal. But Saturdays are usually a day where I'm not training, so I have a bit more time to dedicate towards doing not necessarily the things that are really paying me from a work perspective, but the things they can potentially, right? So the likes of content, working on Instagram posts, that kind of thing, but as well doing things like programming, for example. So I've got a lot more time on Saturdays, and I haven't had a typical Saturday like this in a couple of weeks because I've had something on pretty much every other weekend. So I wanted to just kind of be able to get into like a nice little flow state and just dedicate a couple of hours towards programming and content creation, and the time goes by very quickly when you get into a flow state. So had a good mix on, banged out a couple of posts, did heaps of programs, and now I'm having this meal. Broccoli with almond butter and chili oil is... How can you not like vegetables? Well, yes, if you don't know what to pair them with, try to give it a try. Almond butter, chili oil, even a bit of honey. I've been having honey on this as well the last few days, but today being a little bit higher fat, I am not having honey. Is it funny how, like, when you take your videos, you're like, stop being weird.
It's payback.
I know, see, I don't mind. You get embarrassed. It's like...
I don't get embarrassed.
It's like a...
Disrupting the aesthetics of the video.
It's like a child, right? When, like, their parents interrupt them doing something. You're like, so embarrassing, stop, Mom! That's what it's like live in it. I'm like, you do the line, like... Yeah, no, but, like, that's why you love me. We're just off to give ourselves a little bit of cancer. Have to do a sunbed. It is just the sun's not strong enough these days, and both of us are turning very white. Back to our original skin tone. Yeah, can't be fat and pale. Like going into a game phase while the sun is not as strong and you're just getting whiter is just like a bad look. And we're also off to Dubai in 2 weeks' time, so we want to, like, you know, look decent over there.
Fuck what Christian says. Why am I on a fucking diet?
If it wasn't for that menu tasting yesterday, I would be getting one of these. Yeah. Right, we're home. It's time for meal number 3. So we have some croats, which is just cream of rice and oats. So just mix up the two together, put in some almond milk, bit of baking powder to make it a little bit fluffier, and some vanilla flavor drops. Throw it into the microwave, and I've just left it in the fridge because I just like having it like a cake versus eating it like a hot cereal. Have some whey with almond milk here. I'm going to make that into sludge, and then we'll have some dark chocolate with it, crushed up Biscoff, and a bit of peanut butter. This is what it looks like here. See, sludge nice and thick. A lot of people would find this disgusting, but it's not. It's not for me. Since it's been a while that we've checked in, may as well give you an update as to where things are within this gaining cycle, right? So we are now 13 weeks into the gaining phase, and my body weight has went from 86.9 as like the lowest average, and currently I'm kind of high 90s. So this week my average is like 90.9, and I've had a number of calorie increases. So you can't even remember what my calories were at the end of my diet phase. I think it was 250 protein, 350 carb, 60 fat, something like that. Now my training day calories are 250 protein, 625 carb, 75 grams fats, and in non-training days 250 protein, 525 carb, and 95 gram fat. And that's what I'm doing today, the non-training day calories. And I'm really happy with how the physique is looking like right now. This is the best I've managed to gain phase so far. I've kind of mentioned this in a few different videos. I've just been the right amount of like strict with myself, the right amount of discipline. And even when it does come to days where I've been overeating, like say for example yesterday with the wedding tasting, last weekend I had my mum and sister over in Marbella for a couple of days. So 3 of those days I was out at restaurants and having dinner out, and not really being too conscious of like counting calories, counting macros. I was leaving room for what I was having. Like I was still employing all the practices I usually would. I'd look up the menu in advance. I'd pick something that is probably a little bit more in line with my goal, just based off even just my preferences being dictated towards those foods, right? I don't really have a kind of penchant for very high fat foods when I go out to restaurants. Like I had 2 steak dinners, and then we went out for an Indian one night, and even with the Indian dish I picked, I typically lean towards like a jalfrezi, which relative to like butter chicken korma is definitely going to be a little bit lower fat. I'm still like employing some pretty good eating habits when I do go out for meals out, and again I'm allowing myself to be flexible but within reason. And I guess because I've had gaining phases before where I went out to restaurants and I've overdid it, like this could turn into like not just that day but maybe the next day it might be like I might overeat a little bit more. And even in the gain phase I did last year when I was doing powerlifting, my nutritionist Melissa was setting me numbers and I was going above and beyond them. Let's just say that, right? I was like eating more to what I felt like I should be eating versus what was on the plan. I wasn't like as adherent as I am this time. And I think that's partially just the kind of change of mindset between me doing bodybuilding now, where body composition is really, really important, versus back then I was like, okay, I'm 95 kilos here. I'm going to compete in the 105 kilo weight class. So it doesn't really matter if my weight goes up a little bit faster. I can kind of justify to myself that I may need it to lift bigger weight, right? Whereas like now I can't really kind of justify to myself that like excess weight gain is good in any way, because it needs to come off at some point, right? And these are just kind of things that I hear about all the time. Don't rush your gaining phase, and I say it all the time to my own clients. But there are things there are things that you ultimately have to experience yourself until you kind of feel you see the meaning and value behind that type of mindset. And I think this is part of the fun of the process of body composition change, right? Like, I don't mind being open about my past failures, my past fuck-ups, and even if they are relatively recent, because ultimately at the end of the day, like I'm a human too. When I'm working with clients and helping them achieve their goal, like I know what it takes for them to get to their goal. However, just because I'm a coach, just because I compete in bodybuilding, powerlifting, it doesn't mean, and even though I've like invested a ton of money into my education, it doesn't mean that like I'm infallible and that I can't make mistakes and I can't fuck up, I can't like make errors in my own process, and that I can't have like my own self-limiting beliefs get in the way, or past poor habits come back into the mix when it does come to eating at a restaurant or going on a night out, wherever like that. Part of the process of bodybuilding and improving body composition, strength development, that's fun to me, is the fact that yes, while I can even now still be making mistakes, the aim over time is to make less of them and less of them. Like right now, I don't know where my blind spots currently are. Okay, I'm sure AJ can probably tell me, but I don't quite fully know what I'm missing out on doing right now. For me right now, I feel like my adherence is as good as it's ever been. And I can definitely look back on previous times when I can pinpoint and say, okay, that was good, but this wasn't. And then the further I go back, there's more of that wasn't good. And there's a small amount of things that I was doing right. Every time you go through a process, whether it's gaining phase, a dieting phase, a training program, or even just a single day, there are opportunities, I guess, to reflect and opportunities to see like the kind of areas where you could have done better. Like I definitely noticed the last time I did my gaining phase that I could pinpoint, okay, I can see here the areas where I'm
starting to gain a little bit too fast. And because of that, I've been able to kind of bring it into this phase now and understanding what are the things that I kind of maybe let off the gas a little bit in the last gaining phase. So one of the biggest things I kind of let my foot off the gas with in my last gaining phase was post-diet. It was really, really good for tracking. And then as it got like to 2, 3, 4 months post, I stopped tracking as much. I'd like start forgetting or start doing it at the end of the day. And all of a sudden it became a habit that I just wasn't tracking. Then once I wasn't tracking, it was very easy for me to, on a given day, with a given meal, like add in different ingredients or chop and change things without really being accountable for it. And then it comes to the weekend, and then the weekend again, I go for a meal out and I'm just like overdo it. Say, hey, just once I'm eating enough, once I'm eating past the point of fullness, I'm definitely eating enough. And that would be the thing that would kick me in the ass. Where again, right now, the goal is different. The goal is stricter or more direct and more specific towards body composition. And I know that I can't keep that up, and I know that I don't want to repeat the same mistakes as the last time. Well, yes, I do think that the last gaining phase allowed me to put on a lot of size and like hit some pretty cool strength PBs. I know that if I did that right now, number one, wouldn't fit into my wedding suit, but number two, I just don't think it would be too conducive towards my bodybuilding goal long term. So you who is watching this, I think no matter what phase you're in right now, and you might think you're maybe not doing too good, maybe you think you're doing great. If you think you're doing great, it could be a good idea if you're working with a coach to ask them, hey, what areas do you think that I could potentially do better in? Because again, like even if you think you're doing great, there's probably something you could do better. Like there's definitely things I can do better. I'm not 100% aware of them. If you feel as if you aren't doing great, if you're working with a coach, ask them, like, what type of improvements have you seen in my process across the last while? And for some people, this is not going to necessarily be something that's monumental, okay? It could just be a simple case that, all right, you've gotten better at hitting your protein intake. You've gotten better at hitting your calorie intake within a certain range. When I'm working with clients, I'm thinking of within their approach, relative to where they start, how are we doing in regards to moving closer to hitting the things that matter long term consistently versus hitting every minute detail to a T for that to be like, amazing. Because for a lot of people, the most important things for them to solve is going to be adherence to a training program long term that they enjoy and that they can progress it, right? Them turning up to the gym, ready to train, enjoying training, and feeling enthused to come in and hit their squats, hit their bench, hit their deadlifts, wherever lifts they're doing, and really attack it. Because ultimately, if you enjoy your program, you're going to be able to adhere to it better. And if you have goals set around lifts and you're excited to come in and hit a lift, your effort's going to be better. If all that is better, your muscle gain potential is going to be off the charts, right? Relative to the person who's coming into the gym and thinking, okay, I need to hit X amount of volume or X amount of sets or this specific exercise and work within this resistance profile, that stuff, it's not as important as that first part. Solving for adherence, solving for enjoyment, solving for progressibility of a program. I much prefer to focus on that with a client than I would prefer to focus on the other shit. And we can look at nutrition in the same vein. A lot of people get bogged down in minutiae when it comes to their diet, and they think to be moving forward, they think to be progressing, that they need to be doing a million different things to optimize their nutrition. And for most people, again, it's not necessarily about optimizing. Like that can come down later in the process, right? That can come a couple of years into the process. Most people are going to do better with picking a diet structure that they can adhere to, right? A number of meals like a range number of meals, right? 3 to 5 meals or something like that they can have across the day, similar enough timings most of the time. They have similar enough food choices in terms of sources, protein, carbs, fat sources, fruits, vegetables. And then within that, we say, okay, once they have the structure in place, once they're kind of going towards mostly good quality food sources, right? It doesn't have to be every single thing within their diet is 100% organic, whole, single ingredient, unprocessed food, right? We can have a certain selection of processed or ultra processed food within the diet. But alongside that, what's the number one thing that most people are going to benefit from within that is probably having calories within a range that's going to suit their goal and suit their energy needs. That's where a lot of people fuck up. A lot of people either massively undereat during the week and overeat the weekend, and they go through this yo-yoing effect. If I can work with a client and I can get them to adhere to their calories within a range, so I will typically go, say for example, somebody's having like 2,500 calories on average. If they can live between 2,400 to 2,600, it allows them to eat a little bit less on the days they're not that hungry, eat a little bit more on the days they're feeling more hungry, or even just like depending on what happens within the day, if they're a little bit unplanned, or if they have something that they just decide to have a spur of the moment snack or something like that, they can still manage to kind of fit within that little bit of a range. It's a decent enough range that you're going to have some consistency in energy intake day to day, but it's not so wide of a range that it's going to promote unstructured eating. So that's like the first and foremost thing that I'd be looking at if like somebody who's just looking to improve their diet, right? And then after that, you say, okay, let's start to add in a bit more kind of structure towards protein. Let's say, okay, let's get a minimum target of 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight. Most people can hit that if they're having that 3 to 5 meals across a day and having a protein source at each of them, right? That is going to be very, very simple. And over time, right, you're just trying to go from good to great. I think it's just really important that if you are on this journey right now, that you don't give up because you feel as if you're being imperfect right now, or you're still making mistakes, and they could even become mistakes. Once you're getting better a small bit every single year, or even just trying to like improve your methods a little bit every day, you're trying to learn a little bit more, you are going to learn more just through applying, fucking up, failing, learning from those failings, implementing again, and going through like this iterative process. I've been doing this for 15 years. Every single year does get better once you have that mentality. Once you've got the desire, you've got the effort, you have the effort there, and you have a vision of where you want to be. That's something that so many people don't have. So many people come in with just with the vision, but they don't have the effort, they don't have the desire. If you just have the vision, if you just have like the end goal in mind, without being able to accept the kind of journey that's in between, it won't be as satisfying and you won't make it. Because that's one thing that anybody who is in the game, as long as me, will tell you, that even once you get the results, they're satisfying, but it's literally, as cliche it is, every step along the way that has made it that bit more satisfying. I have to go do a sauna now. It is 6:15, so I'm leaving it pretty late. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the ramble there, and maybe you feel inspired.
Back from the sauna, back from a walk. Sauna this evening is actually shy. It's been shit the last 2 times I've used it. It's just not as hot. Now I don't know if because I've been doing it consistently that I've just adapted, and that's just like whatever to me now, because I was in there for like 25 minutes. I was in there for 25 minutes the other day and I was like barely even sweating. So I don't know if it's me adapting. I don't know if that level of adaptation happens in saunas. I can't imagine it would, right? Like heat stress, a very hot heat. Surely you don't just be like, no, they don't sweat at this anymore. I don't know. Or it could just be the machine's broke. But anyway, last meal gone down. So what we have in the cards: chicken thigh stir fry, chili oil, spring onion, got almond butter drizzled over it, got about 20 grams of honey drizzled over it. We got rice, we got black beans, we got peppers, we got mushrooms, onions, garlic, the whole shebang, and a bit of black bean sauce as the actual sauce. And we're watching here on the screen Ireland against South Africa. Ireland are playing a great game of defense. They just need to score some tries. But anyway, that's the first video back in about 2 months. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and as always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comments to leave, drop them below. But we'll chat to you in the next one.